Good evening. Welcome in daily UPSC editorial audio program. Red Sea Code Red. Times of India. Clean up your act. Mental health gains mental wealth. The Economic Times. Number game. The Hindu. A case diary for the Indian police. Now the full editorial. Red Sea Code Red. The Times of India. US action on Houthis needed and risky. Question for India. Times of India editorial. Strike unleashed Strikes unleashed on Houthi targets in Yemen by a US-led coalition were predictable. Earlier, they had issued an ultimatum to Houthis to stop attacking commercial vessels using the Red Sea route. Their warnings were ignored, and a response to breaching the red line was inevitable. Of greater worry are increased risk that the collateral firefights of Israel-Hamas conflict can spiral out of control. Red Sea Theater: U.S. military estimated that Houthis have carried out 24 attacks on commercial shipping since mid-November. It has pushed up sea transport cost and marine insurance. Red Sea is the shortest seaboard route connecting Asia and Europe. Roughly 50% of global seaboard trade passes through which includes oil, LNG, and food grains. The alternate route is around South Africa, which can increase shipping time by 7 to 20 days. The mm, the outcome of Houthi attack is that spot market price for forfeit containers from China to Rotterdam increased 115% over a week to $3,577 on January 4th. Conflict can spread. Hopefully, US strikes will act as a deterrent and cap the damage. However, there is also the chance that it can drag Iran directly into the conflict, which will affect the critical Persian Gulf shipping choke point. India can't ignore it. India is an increased party as ensuring safe navigation through Red Sea is of direct economic interest. Also, Indian sailors are employed on commercial vessels flying other flags. So far, India has avoided direct involvement, but in its own interest, India may soon have to support the US-led coalition seeking to enforce freedom of navigation. Clean up your act. Such index has the dirt on our municipalities. Such survey of city cleanliness merits choose close reading. It is not so much about rankings, though competition may spur action, but about the big picture review it provides of urban local bodies ULB performance. Measures cleanliness city report card was measures on 8 major indicators: waste collection, door-to-door segregation at source and processing, dump site management and cleanliness of residential areas, markets, public toilets, and water bodies. Growing up dirty, our cities are expanding rapidly. Further, you move away from city center and government areas. Earlier, the growth haphazard, uncaring, dirty, congested. The rankings bear this out. Money and people of urban areas surveyed 466 cities had over 1 lakh populations. How ULB operate in a function of resource, people, and fund vis-a-vis the population may cater to in Delhi. NDMC that cater to a population of 2.6 lakh. Consensus 2011 has an all India rank of 7, while MCD for rest of Delhi a population of 1.3 crore rank 90. No surprise that where MCD tanked was in cleanliness of residential and market areas and dump site remediation. Read the layers. Bengal results are worrying. 13 cities have fared badly. Its best performer by Baidyabati ranked 426 does well on some parameters, but it what is yet to process its waste. Similarly, Arunachal's Itanagar scored One of 466 is yet to start working its waste segregation to processing, but its residential areas and marketplaces are ranked clean. Indore, with 19.9 lakh population, has held its own cleanliness is institutionalized. Those blanching at their rankings should see how Indore did so instead of rising a sting. Mental health against mental wealth. The Economic Times. Earlier this week, Amaha, a mental health startup, announced that it has secured rupees 50 crore in an extended series, a funding round led by Fireside Ventures, with other angel investors contributing 15.6 crore. The Mumbai-based company plans to use this funding to expand its treatment and care plans for anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, ADHD, OCD, schizophrenia, and addictions. India's mental health landscape is worrying. According to WHO, 10.6 of the population suffers from mental health issues. The prevalence is higher in men than women, and urban residents are more prone to such um, ailments than their rural counterparts. The treatment gap, the difference in the proportion of people who have a disorder and those individuals who receive care for mental alignment ranges from 28% to 83%, and a government facility which is mostly under equipped is the commonest source of care, while the National Mental Health Policy 2014 and the Mental Health Care Act 2017 call for universal access to quality services and protection of the rights of affected people. This is serious shortfall of doctors, counselors, and facilitators. Startups such as AMHA, Vaisa, Evolve, Kaha Mind, Kaha Min, Man, Mana, and Trijog are trying to fill this gap and using innovative tech-led solutions. While social stigma remains a challenge, awareness is rising. People are seeking professional help. According to the Univ Data's market research report, the Indian mental health market is expected to grow at a substantial CAGR of 15% between 2022 to and 2028. Currently, around 280 mental health startups operate in India. The emergence of this support framework is a positive development. However, in the competition to attract subscribers, quality of services should not suffer. Numbers game. The Hindu factors affecting general improvement in sanitation must be overcome. For the for the 8 year running, the center has announced the Swachh Sarvekshan Award, its annual exercise of awarding cities, towns, and states which have performed in impressively on various parameters of public sanitation in an exercise that has now become predictable. The city of Indore in Madhya Pradesh has been adju- adjudged India's cleanest city for the seventh year in a row. The only change in that this year this has to share honors with Surat, Gujarat. Last year, Surat came second, which is not surprising as it's usually occupied the higher uh, echelons of the ranking ladder in earlier editions. Bhopal, Indore, Surat, and Visakhapatnam have entrenched themselves over the years. There is a certain volatility beyond the top 10. Ahmedabad, Chandigarh, and Gwalior, for instance, are volatile cities, but the top cities are consistent. All of this is suggestive of the degrees of stagnation. Another quirk of the survey is that it creates multiple subcategories so that many more cities have a chance at top scoring in some category or the other. Thus, while it is meaningful to create subcategories based on population, some classifications stretch carefully. How in Madhya Pradesh has been awarded as the cleanest cantonment town. Varanasi and Prayagraj are proud winners of the cleanest Ganga town, and Chandigarh is the cleanest best Safai Mitra Surakshit Shahar. City is the safest for sanitation work. Other than obvious criticism of parochilism, why, for instance, cannot there be the cleanest Kaveri or Narmada town? It ends up focusing too much attention on the top. The underlying principle of several ranking schemes put in place by the center is to motivate sections, cities, villages, schools to pull themselves up on their own metal. While this works well for sporting, contest. Public sanitation is not something that is the result of a town or city actively choosing to be lazy or industrious in improving themselves. It is heavily influenced by their history, economic conditions, and proximity to power. That the few cities are perpetually at the top means that there is less attention paid to the factors that hinder a general improvement in sanitation. One way to make future editions of the survey works as a useful barometer of progress is to acknowledge that consistent toppers have already put in place a well-oiled system, and having done so, retire them from future rankings for a few years. This will throw focus and highlight challenges that estimate other cities for civic sanitations to remain a sustainable movement. It is high time that the government intervenes and prevents it from being a number game. A case study for the Indian police. The higher ranks in the police force have to be conscious of the many problems that confront policing. R.K. Raghavan, former Central Bureau of Investigation Director, the 3-day conference in Jaipur in the first week of January of police officers, Director General of Police level from across India was a kind of stalking exercise as well as learning experience, as many subjects of contemporary relevance in the area of information technology formed a core of the agenda. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who spoke at the meet, also interacted with most of the officers individually. The sign is that there is growing importance being attached to law enforcement in the country and the high stake that the administration has in efficient policing. Public image, federal issues. However, what cannot be swept under the carpet is the undeniable fact that the police have still to earn the trust and confidence of a majority of the populace. Their is the image in the public eye continues to be abysmal, and no respectable citizen would ever want to go into a police station in India to seek help unless he is in extreme distress. It is unfortunate that even 7 decades after India's independence, citizens do not have a guardian organization that will reach out to the poorest in the community. That is why, despite the honest intervention of the executive, there has been no upgradation in the reputation of our police forces. No police commission has been able to do so much in this regard, except for make a few inane observation. And added complexity is the growing disorder between the center and a few opposition-led states. The New Delhi conceived and managed Indian police service is perceived to be a permanent irritant to some state who look upon the IPS as reliable instructor over whom they have no control. States would prefer to have their own recruits vis-a-vis those with divided loyalties. This is likely to exacerbate itself in the years to come. I I wonder whether this delicate subject was discussed at all in Jaipur. The role of the enforcement director and the implications it has for federal governments will have to be sorted out sooner rather than later. The attacks on ED officers in a few places in India is unfortunate and poses a danger to relations between New Delhi and states. More technology adopt. In fairness to the police, however, it must be said that they have become more technology savvy. It is possibly because we have more educated policemen in the lower echelons than before. It is not because Indian youth rate a career in the police force very high. It is the sheer high rate of unemployment in India that is driving many to opt for a police job. This is good so far as it goes. The question is whether the young men and women who become constable or sub inspectors, then two ranks to which there is direct entry, will get an opportunity to display their talent. This is because officers of the IPS alone hold all attention and the glory, depriving the lower rank of any chance to prove themselves. The situation in most of the world is different. Every recruit wearing a few highly qualified candidates needed for their knowledge of science and technology starts at the lowest rung of the ladder and rises up the rank. This is the argument against the IPS, notwithstanding the fact that IPS officer is rated highly for his or her sharp mind and zeal. A major restructuring that narrows the gap between the higher ranks and the lower ranks could help in any exercise to drastically improve the quality of policing. Knowledge and integrity will have to go together alongside genuine empathy for the common man if the image of India's police force has to improve. This is ambitious, but the blending can be achieved if senior police officers make an earnest attempt to change things and an anxiety to educate those at the lowest level in the forces is unfortunately not evident among IPS officers. It is unfortunate that the structure of the hierarchy works against spending quality time with the constabulary. Why cannot GDPs and their DGPs and their immediate subordinate spend an hour a day to teaching their ranks how to expand their frontiers of knowledge and in turn how to use it for the benefit of the common man? The shadow of politics, no discussion of policing can be concluded without referring to the eternal complaints of the politicizing of the police force, the nagging question of how to insulate our policemen from political caprice dominates all debates on the police. This knotty problem is intertwined with the democratic system of government. It is an art to art to politely say no to the downright illegal demand made by grassroots politicians. Not many can do it with the fact this is an aspect of policing that will continue for decades to come, ensuring the independence of the autonomy of operations for the police force is a pipe dream until the whole polity changes to chastise the police alone as being a slave to political directives is on dishonesty to the core. Thank you.